CEOs are making a billion-dollar mistake right now, not just by misinterpreting AI, but by fundamentally misunderstanding their own workforce. A Forbes article by Alexander Puutio published just this May 2026 revealed that many executives are operating with an AI mental model that's 2 or 3 versions out of date. They're stuck on AI replacing people, while the real gains are in augmentation. Claire Zillman, writing for the Conference Board in January 2026, highlighted how this leads to AI washing and dismissing lower-value human capital. We're not talking about job cuts. We're talking about a massive productivity unlock that most C-suites are missing entirely. What if the most powerful AI tool isn't some new model, but a subtle shift in how leaders talk to their teams about it? That's the real billion-dollar blind spot. In January 2026, the Conference Board published its C-suite outlook, revealing that AI has moved from the periphery to the very core of executive decision-making. Yet, just 4 months later, Forbes contributor Alexander Puutio declared that the AI landscape CEOs learned in Q1 was already 2 or 3 versions out of date. This speed of change is dizzying, and it's creating a massive disconnect. Even more striking, a recent Harris survey for Dateku found that a staggering 74% of employees fear job loss due to AI. This isn't just about fear. It's about a fundamental misunderstanding. As of April 2026, thousands of executives admit that AI has shown no impact on employment or productivity, resurrecting a productivity paradox first observed 40 years ago during the IT age. We're at a critical inflection point where many CEOs mistakenly believe AI replaces employees, viewing humans as lower-value human capital, as Claire Zillman highlighted in May. But the real power, the billion-dollar opportunity, lies in augmenting human capability, not replacing it. This isn't just about avoiding AI washing. It's about unlocking real, sustainable growth. Today, we're diving into why so many leaders are missing this crucial distinction. What are the psychological traps causing this blind spot? How can companies bridge this gap between C-suite perception and ground-level reality? And what does it mean for your career, whether you're a founder, an employee, or simply navigating this rapidly evolving landscape? This critical issue, what Alexander Puutio calls a billion-dollar blind spot, in his May 31st, 2026 Forbes article, stems from a rapidly widening knowledge gap within leadership. Puutio states pointedly that the AI landscape CEOs learned in Q1 2026, perhaps from a single executive briefing on LLM basics or a cursory review of market reports, is already 2 or 3 versions out of date by May, underscoring the dizzying pace of technological iteration. It's akin to investing in the latest iPhone 18 Pro Max, only for the iPhone 19 to be announced and shipping before you've even unboxed your purchase. Many executives, Puutio observes, are merely performing fluency with AI, presenting a superficial understanding of concepts like model fine-tuning or vector databases rather than engaging with its operational nuances. This isn't just about buzzwords. The Conference Board's January 15, 2026 AI in the C-Suite report confirmed AI's undeniable shift to the absolute core of executive strategy, impacting everything from supply chain optimization to customer experience. Yet, as Joe Galvin's Vistage research from March 30, 2026, reveals, while a striking 76% of CEOs now use generative AI regularly, a significant 10% jump in just 9 months, most are mistaking casual interaction for true organizational embedding. They're using ChatGPT 4.0 to draft an internal memo, not restructuring entire product development workflows or reevaluating competitive positioning. Claire Zillman, in her May 28, 2026 Fortune piece on psychological traps hindering AI adoption, points out that CEOs often fall into static mental models, unable to adapt to AI's dynamic, exponential progression. This means while the rank and file at companies like Synthetix or Anthropic are experimenting with new AI tools and methodologies daily, leadership at legacy enterprises is stuck in yesterday's strategic playbook. The real problem isn't just a lack of understanding. It's a deeply ingrained fixed mindset attempting to navigate a profoundly fluid technological environment. This brings us to a new kind of productivity paradox. Despite Gartner projecting worldwide AI spending to reach a staggering $2.5 trillion in 2026, a disturbing productivity paradox 2.0 is emerging. As of April 19, 2026, thousands of executives and CEOs openly admit that AI has shown no impact on employment or productivity. This echoes the famous 1987 observation by Nobel laureate Robert Solow, who noted that you can see the computer age everywhere, but in the productivity statistics. It feels like history rhyming, just with faster processors. This modern paradox is well documented. Dr. Andreas Mazet, in his March 10, 2026 article, reveals that PwC's latest global CEO survey found 56% of CEOs cannot prove AI's value. That's over half of top leaders reporting neither clear revenue gains nor measurable cost reductions from their AI investments. Think about that for a second. Companies are pouring capital into these tools, yet most can't point to a bottom-line impact. New data reported by Sam Hollenbeck from #WEF 2026 in Davos paints an even starker picture. Only 12% of CEOs show AI has delivered both cost reduction and revenue gains. This isn't just a blind spot. It's a failure to quantify impact at a foundational level. Take a sales team, for instance. They might be using an AI assistant to draft emails, saving an hour a day, but if those saved hours aren't reallocated to higher value activities, more customer calls, deeper strategic planning, the actual business impact remains elusive. Apollo chief economist Torsten Slok has even observed a steep drop in productivity alongside the potential for employees to save an entire workday a week with AI. The problem isn't the tool's capability, it's the operationalization, and that often comes down to how employees perceive and interact with these changes, which leads us to the growing employee anxiety and mistrust. In a Harris survey conducted for Dateku, highlighted by Peter Capelli in his May 2026 post, CEOs, Boards, and Misunderstanding AI, a startling 74% of employees admitted to fearing job loss due to AI if they didn't demonstrate progress with it. This isn't just about technical skills. It's a massive undercurrent of anxiety and insecurity running through the workforce. Think about the cumulative impact of 3/4 of your employees carrying that fear. What does that do to morale? To innovation? Claire Zillman, in her May 28, 2026 article, also titled The Billion-Dollar Blind Spot, nails the core issue. Leaders are botching communications. She points out that CEOs are often falling into the same psychological traps with their AI messaging, leading to what she calls AI washing. A stark example of this happened on February 24, 2026, when Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters openly discussed replacing lower-value human capital with AI. Imagine hearing that from your CEO. It's not a subtle nudge. It's a direct shot to employee trust and engagement. This kind of poor communication doesn't just erode morale. It fuels internal resistance, turning potential collaborators into disengaged skeptics. When nearly 3/4 of your workforce fears job displacement, that's not just an HR problem. It's a massive, latent productivity loss and a ticking time bomb for attrition. This disconnect shows a deeper issue. Leadership's own blind spots in truly interpreting AI's potential, not just for cost-cutting, but for augmentation and growth. This billion-dollar blind spot isn't merely a technical hurdle. It's a profound leadership failure to grasp AI's truly transformative systemic impact. As Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading AI strategist, detailed in her May 2026 Strategic Outlook for Enterprise AI, a staggering 78% of executives, particularly those in non-tech sectors, still fundamentally misinterpret the strategic depth required. Joe Galvin, in his incisive March 30, 2026 Vistage Research and Insights report, pinpointed a critical misunderstanding. Business leaders mistake casual generative AI use for genuine digital transformation. They might be prompting ChatGPT for rudimentary market research or drafting emails, but they're not leveraging advanced AI systems to fundamentally redefine supply chain logistics, customer engagement models, or new product development cycles. For instance, the Conference Board's January 15, 2026 C-Suite Outlook survey revealed 87% of executives perceive AI as critical for competitiveness. Yet, examining their Q1/Q2 2026 capital expenditure and R&D budgets, only 12% directly allocated funds to AI-driven process reengineering. It's akin to declaring commitment to an Olympic marathon while only jogging around the block. Alexander Puutio, writing in Forbes on May 31, 2026, brilliantly coined the term "perform fluency" with AI. He illustrated how C-suite leaders often appear conversant in AI's capabilities, but their mental models remain tethered to basic generative tasks like content creation, failing to move beyond the superficial. This perform fluency severely curtails their ability to envision AI's true potential for disruptive innovation and sustainable strategic advantage, leaving untold billions in value unrealized and creating a widening chasm between their perception and the actual demands of an AI-first economy. This systemic issue necessitates moving beyond the hype to focus on deep, strategic shifts for AI-first transformation. The Conference Board's 2026 C-Suite Outlook survey, published January 15, 2026, reveals a dramatic shift. AI has moved from a peripheral concern to the absolute core of executive strategy, with 68% of CEOs now identifying it as their top transformational priority. This isn't about just experimenting anymore. It's about deep, strategic integration into every facet of operations. But here's the kicker. Many leaders are still stuck in what Claire Zillman, writing for Fortune on May 28, 2026, calls AI washing, where they use vague, hype-filled language instead of clear, actionable communication. This often leads to referring to employees as lower-value human capital, a term used by 45% of surveyed executives, which, predictably, fuels the very anxiety we discussed earlier. Alexander Puutio, in Forbes on May 31, 2026, put it bluntly. The AI landscape CEOs learned in Q1 2026 is already 2 or 3 versions out of date, citing the rapid advancements from models like Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro to OpenAI's GPT-5. This continuous evolution demands that leaders update their mental models, not just their software subscriptions. To truly move past this productivity paradox, Multiverse's March 10, 2026 research highlights that CEOs need quantifiable metrics and clear strategies for AI investments, not just aspirational spending. Think of it like a capital expenditure project for a new manufacturing plant. You wouldn't approve a multi-million-dollar spend without clear ROI targets, such as a 15% efficiency gain within 18 months. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, leaders must engage employees directly. The Dateku survey Peter Capelli cited showed a staggering 74% of employees fear job loss due to AI, up from 58% just 2 years prior. Addressing these fears by demonstrating how AI augments, rather than replaces, human capabilities, perhaps by showcasing how AI streamlines tasks for customer service teams like those at Zappos, allowing them to focus on complex problem-solving, isn't just good PR. It's essential for a successful AI-first cultural transformation. What this tells us is that the biggest AI challenge isn't technical, it's organizational and human-centric. What we've seen today isn't just about integrating a new technology. It's a fundamental challenge to leadership itself. The billion-dollar blind spot isn't just about misjudging AI's capabilities or limitations. It's about a failure of transparent communication, a lack of strategic measurement, and a critical underinvestment in human capital. The real win here isn't just adopting AI. It's about transforming a workforce that feels anxious into one that is empowered and actively contributing to a company's AI-first future. This is how you turn a perceived threat into a competitive advantage. So I'm curious, if you're an employee, have you ever felt like your company's AI initiatives were more about hype than real strategy, or that your concerns weren't being addressed? Drop your story in the comments below. If you want to keep up with how real operators are navigating the complex intersection of technology, business, and human capital in 2026, hit that subscribe button. And if you found this deep dive useful, you absolutely need to watch my breakdown of how companies like OpenAI are monetizing their latest models without alienating their developer base. That's exactly the next thing you should watch.